What is a problem in 2019 that would not be one in 1989? Having to unplug my book so that I can charge my cigarette. Captain, can I come see the cockpit? Smoking on a plane. Google outage. Being in the toilet without your phone lol. Having millions of people you've never met actively trying to dig up dirt on you and generally ruin your life because you said the wrong thing. Trying to retire comfortably on $1 million. Waiting in line to go through airport security. Yay, I hate the shoe bomber, particularly now I have to talk my shoes off in the airport and I can't take water bottles on the plane because God forbid I stay hydrated. Yes, I know I can take bottles on a plane, but I feel like I am doing something illegal when I do it. Phone going off in a movie theater. Kids under 10 years old being out and about with no adult supervision. Being left the fuck alone. Used to be you could disappear for the day and nobody was getting a hold of you until you came home. Having a drink with Bill Cosby. You wouldn't think back then anyway. Everyone complaining about the actor who's going to play Batman. Getting charging anxiety over all of your devices, smartphone, tablet, laptop, Bluetooth earbuds, smartwatch, etc. that you need to make sure are always at 100%. Maximum Overdrive came out in '86 and depicted a world where all the machines somehow come alive and try to kill humans. It was a silly premise back then. How could machines just come to life? Well, now between self-driving cars, military drones, the Internet of Things, and how even a fucking toaster has Wi-Fi these days, I'd say Maximum Overdrive is getting closer and closer to real. I'm so excited. Depression stemming from social media. Also iPhone updates being released and your old iOS system running horribly after that. Leaving your doors unlocked. My grandma still never locks her doors, even after being robbed 2 years ago. Influencers trying to sponge off the rest of the world because they're essentially useless at anything else in life. To be clear, I realize some are knowledgeable and respected and perhaps earn their keep, if you will. More the Instagram non-models that think the world owes them everything and they have to do nothing but take pictures of themselves. Our company's reputation is being destroyed by a trending hashtag. Helicopter parenting. They definitely existed back then. The difference is that today we're more connected to each other. Back in 1989 the worst a parent could do is show up or make a call. But today we're so interconnected with cell phones and social media that the helicopter parenting is way worse. There was that story a couple years ago of a girl whose parents paid for her college but she refused to allow them to visit cause they got too involved with her activities. So they pulled their payments her senior year unless she agreed to their terms. The school ended up stepping in and paying for her last year and had the parents banned from campus. Surprised I haven't seen this yet, the amount of plastic in the ocean, global warming, multiple species becoming endangered and/or extinct, all forms of climate change. Selfie deaths. People falling off cliffs and ledges trying to take a selfie. The damn summer heat. When I was a kid I used to be outside all day every day. Now you can literally die from it. Stupid global warming. Whales in Texan. Becoming homeless, it was still a problem in 1989 but it was still much easier to recover than it is now in 2019. People who became homeless because of the 2008 are still not recovered in 2019. Always being reachable. I cannot count the number of times when my wife would call and I don't answer for whatever reason. She calls back 5 minutes later like, "Where have you been?" Some of my best vacations have been ones with no cell service. Has brought jealousy FOMO to new heights. If I go to dinner with a group of friends, a bunch of others that know the group see pics online and are left wondering why they didn't get the invite. It's so annoying. Sometimes you don't want a 20-person gathering. I'm sick of the assumption that you always be contactable. People get mad if you don't immediately pick up the phone when they call you. Also don't fully believe you, understand that you didn't have your phone on you. I want to play a video game, but I don't have internet, my console, mobile phone needs an update. No Wi-Fi connection. It's the end of the world. As shit man, I forgot my e-cig, now I got to go buy some normal ones, let me call an Uber. Parents, don't go into strangers' cars kids. Or talk to anybody on the internet, now, summon someone from the internet specifically to enter their car. I remember when you could smoke practically anywhere, now places are smoke-free. Work makes us stand out so far from the building, which is fine. I am happy we have an area to smoke. I also remember when there were no smartphones, no flip phones. Even though I do love my phone, the times were just more simple back then. Having only a few hours of free time to play your favorite inline game only to find out servers are down from someone DDoSing them. I probably used that wrong, sorry. Having to have a school lockdown because of a shooter. So, I am in middle school, and we had to have a lockdown because the neighboring high school, it was like 200 yards away. And I remember sitting there in the dark and someone just lets one rip. The fart I heard was like someone banging on a table for about 3 seconds. After sitting in silence for so long, that came as a shock. The person said, and I quote, "Been saving that one since 6th period." Anti-vaxxers. I am pretty sure everyone in 1989 would love to vaccinate their children cause they didn't wanna get their children sick. But here we are, in 2019. In June 1989 you didn't have to worry about your social credit score when heading down to Tiananmen to see what all the commotion was about. Asking a community of complete strangers sophisticated questions that are meant to get as many abstract upvotes as possible. Oh, sorry, maybe not a problem, but a phenomenon to be sure. People dying from playing a game on a mobile telephone that involves walking around and collecting fictional animals from real places. The imminent threat of climate change would have made a big difference if we'd cleaned up our act 30 years ago. Aside from anything related to the internet technology, because that's too obvious, I would say climate change, a Trump presidency, and household items, clothing, and electronics that are not made to last. Just about all the stuff I bought in 1989 were made in the US, Korea, or Japan. Build quality was top-notch and long-lasting. Ever since they opened up business diplomacy in China, our companies started getting greedy and outsourced everything with it, including American jobs. Can't get Imager to upload your that feel when your hentai loli dragon own a hole is crusted with semen and your mom won't let you use the dishwasher to clean it out because the Wi-Fi network connected to it is down because your ISP provider has frozen your account for pirating hentai porn meme. Forgetting one of your myriad of passwords that are required in order to log into and manage any number of bank accounts, utilities, apps, services, etc. I found out my grandmother died because my cousin couldn't wait to post it on Facebook before my parents could call and tell me when I was off work. Social media. Everyone posts their success only showing that they're constantly winning, without showing how and what it took to get there. Creating a false reality that makes others feel that if you aren't constantly winning, you're losing. People need to remember there is no success without struggle. Drinking at work. In most professions. My dad's office used to have a bar in it, in which they would spend every Friday afternoon. I think they kept it till around 2000, and they kicked up a right stink when there was pressure from above to replace it with a gym. College students wandering into traffic because they're too absorbed in their phones. Near misses happen every year where I work, which amazes me. I was a student at this same university in the 80s, and there was truly nothing so important then that a 3-minute walk to the nearest phone couldn't fix. Even when the Challenger blew up and I overheard a girl talking about it, what could I have done about it? I hurried back to my dorm and turned on the TV. A cell phone, if I'd had one, and if I'd had decent reception back then, wouldn't have changed a thing. Getting raped and being forced to have the baby. In 1989, you just went away for the summer and had an abortion. Climate change. It might have still been a problem, but it wouldn't have been much of a problem back then than it is now. Not hovering over my kid while at the park. Hell, I remember going to the park in the 80s and my brothers and I would run off to the playground or play around in the woods while my parents did parent stuff, probably find a shaded area and relax for once. I took my kid to the park when she was 2. She was playing on the little kids slide while my wife and I found the only bench, which was about 20 feet from the wood-chipped play area, while the other parents were not less than 10 feet from the slide they were playing on. My kid goes down the slide, the runs to a spot where we don't have line of sight to her, which was behind some red plastic wall thing. No big deal. Until this other mom says, "I'll just watch her over here for you." In a bitch tone. Jesus Christ. Can't fucking sit on a damn bench watching kids play without being judged. In the 80s my parents would be the weird ones if they were hanging on our undropped testicles while we were playing. Fucking relax. With nearly 4,200 comments so far, someone has probably said cyberbullying already, but I'll throw it out there anyway. In the 80s a bully generally just walked up to you and gut punched you for kicks. In my case that was probably 80 or 81, not 89, but same difference. Kids and teens not going outside and living in the moment. Spending their whole lives with their damn phones. I think the internet has been awful to society. I know that sounds like an old man thing to say, I'm 38, but it's true. In my neighborhood in 80s on summer days there were kids everywhere outside, all day long from early morning until 10 to 11 p.m. Now that same neighborhood which I rented an apartment in past decade I never saw kids outside. It was shocking and sad.